I had early access to Comet. Comet is a browser from Perplexity known to do really good browser automation. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple use case where and how Comet can help. A couple of months ago, I got an email from my university saying that my student email address is no longer be accessible to me in the next few weeks. So that puts me in a situation where I have to back up all my photographs and files stored over the past 10 years on Google Photos, which is actually a very manual task because I've accumulated about 1.5 terabytes. If I were to manually download it, I would actually lose lots of metadata. And if I were to share them differently, I would have to manually select each date, and each date has a specific number of items. From my old account, I actually shared everything to this account, meaning as long as that account is active, I should be able to see those photographs from this Gmail account. But the problem here is once that account gets deactivated, I might lose access to these photos. The only way for me to back up is to have a local copy into this new Gmail account or Google Photos account. So this is where I actually leveraging Comet, Comet's assistant, to take those backups. I'm going to create a new album. In this case, I'm creating this album for the 2020, January to, let's just say July. And I'm going to name it as a Shake PKP because this is the format I've been using for other years and months. And I select photos. This will show photographs of all the accounts are shared to this account, meaning all my university emails, photographs, and videos will show up here. But again, like I said, they're only temporary. They'll go away once that email is obsolete. So I have to manually take those backup into my personal folders. So I'm going to go ahead and select. Let me go back here. I selected Jan to July, right? So I'm going to go select photos. I have to go all the way to 2020 here. I'm in January 2020 and I have to literally select, for example, January 1st, January 2nd. Obviously, I don't have to select all these photographs, but just January 1st, January 2nd. And for me to go from January to July, it's like 30 into 6. 60s are 80, 180 clicks. And these 180 clicks, what I'm trying to save using Comet. This brings us to the use case, which is selecting the assistant. I'll say on the screen, select dates from January 1st, 2020 to July 31st, 2020 for each date. Search on the page the date and select the date. If you did not find any results, that means there aren't any items for that date. So go to next date. Continue this until you reach July 31st, 2020. Scrolling might not be efficient. I've tried in the past iterations where I let Comet Assistant to scroll through, but this scrolling needs really precision scrolling, meaning you have to do slow scrolling to find those dates. And since it was automated and it couldn't do the scrolling the way how it actually need to be scrolled. So I'm giving little precise instructions to Assistant to do the steps. Obviously, there are some typos. I'm not really worried about typos. See what Assistant does. So on January 1st, 2020, I have 25 pictures. January 2nd, I have about 5 pictures. You can see on the top section, it is searching for each date, January 3rd, 2020. Which is pretty seamless, right? So I'm actually not doing anything. It is doing it for me for each date, selecting the date, and doing the magic. This is just insane. Just saved me so much time. January 6th, I have a few pictures. I think January 5th, if you looked at it, there weren't any pictures, so it skipped and went ahead into the new date. Pretty cool, right? Again, I'm going to try this. I have about 12 years of my photographs from my Kent ID, and I'm going to spend maybe a couple of hours to do this, maybe less than that, to back up and save it to my new Google account. So that's the use case. I'm going to let it complete. And I'm going to stop this video for now. Towards the end, I'm going to show you how many pictures it did select from January to July 31st of 2020. All right, it is a quick check. I wanted to share some observations here. since I've started this selection process through Comet Assistant from January 1st to July 31st, in the first iteration, it only selected until February 2nd or February 20th of 2020, and then it says it takes more number of steps. You probably have to do it one more time. So what I did is I just asked Assistant to do, continue for the rest of the dates, and it went ahead and selected all the dates until July 31st, 2020. As you can see, there are 690 items selected from all this time frame. If we were to give a rough estimate, if again this is 31st of July, I think if I take one photograph or several photographs for each day, which is 180 days, I'm essentially saving 180 clicks with a nicely put prompt on Comet Assistant. So since this is good enough for me, and I've seen that all the items were selected, I'll just say done, right? Just to verify, I'm gonna go check to see what the final response from Assistant is. It says continue the automated search, and it says from February 11th to July 31st. Work is purely mechanical reception, a proven pattern. Would you like me to continue the exercise? All achieve 100% completion rate. So looks like it did, and this is what exactly I wanted.